Job chapter 15 and verse 6, thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I, yet thy own lips testify against thee. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Hawashai, Wahara Kakadash, the honors of the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. They're scattered abroad amongst the heathen, some looking like the heathen, beginning with 144,000 preachers, teachers, and prophets. Shalom. And as you see, MSNBC, Israeli human rights groups accuse the Netanyahoo government of the big G in Gaza. So the Israelis' own government is accusing their leader Netanyahu of what? Of the big G in Gaza. Because that's exactly what's going on. And this the big bro, man. This the big brother Malcolm topic right here. He the first person I thought about when I saw the title of this video. And hey, let's go to show you these ain't the Israelites, man. Cause see, we not gonna cause the big G. We ain't gonna wipe nobody out. Oh, except Esau after the 1,000 years of captivity. But when we're in rulership, yeah, we're going to punish nations and bring forth plagues if they are disobedient. If they are disobedient, we're going to bring these type of judgments. But it's not to wipe the whole nation out or a whole tribe of people. All right, these Edomites who claiming to be us are trying to, hey, they telling them to go to a certain location for aid and comfort, and then they bomb that location. Hey, they bring forth airdrops of a little bit of food and still bring torture and torment and chaos, man. So they playing with the people. They're trying to make it seem as if they're trying to aid, but no. Hey, it's a slow death. All right? It's a slow death. Look at wicked ass. These are the Edomites. They're not the Israelites. Matter of fact, let's back up what I'm saying. Then we're going to play the video. Let's get Zechariah real quick. 14. It was 14 or 13. I'm almost certain it's 14. Cause see, the nations that don't do what we tell them to do, we're gonna bring these plagues. But it's not gonna stay upon you forever and wipe your whole seed line out or your whole tribe out, man. Nah. It's until you get back in order. The book of Zechariah, chapter 6, chapter 14, and and 16. It says, and it shall come to pass. Now this is when we in rulership. This one, the true Israelites. And our Heavenly Father, Yahweh send Yahweh Shai to deliver us as a hopeful elect and seeking to be the elect from America and the four corners of the earth, come to deliver us and take us back home. This we ruling. All right? And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King. And this also proves that that the whole earth is not going to be wiped out. This proves that the Lord is not going to kill everybody, and the only survivors are going to be those that's caught up and just bowing down before God every day. No, man. The earth's still going to be here. Other nations all nations are going to be here. America's going to be wiped out. The land of Israel is going to be wiped out. But the land of Israel will be rebuilt by you heathen for us Israelites. Okay? As a matter of fact, when you go up, it's going into the plague, which is World War III. That's going to hit America. Matter of fact, let's start up. Then we'll play the video. Let's start up. Let me see. I hadn't read this chapter in a minute. The book of Zechariah, chapter 14. And 12. Why the hell much more shot? It says, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah. This plague is talking about World War III. Okay? And the return of our Lord Yahweh Shah and the angels. And this is the final plague. That's going to hit America. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. And hey, the armies, the nations that came up against the nation of Israel, hey, you're going to get jacked up. You're going to feel it. Even back east. That radiation, hey, them contaminated waters, y'all going to feel the pain of this World War III and the return of our Lord Yahweh Shah. Now, you're still going to be here, but you're going to feel it. It's punishment for coming up against the Israelites. Us. Y'all know who we are. The Negroes, the Native American Indians, the Hispanics, Latinos, the Jamaicans, and the Haitians, man. And we also scatter amongst the other nations, looking like the other nations through the seed line of our fathers. It says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away, and their holes and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. This is when the nuclear missiles hit America, man. All right? How you going to disintegrate? And like the elders always bring out, and it's a good movie. I remember watching it when it first came out in the 90s, Terminator 2. Sarah Connor was at the park up against the fence. As a matter of fact, the woman who wrote Terminator, a woman wrote Terminator. A so-called black woman wrote Terminator. That was inspired by the Bible, man. All right, by that verse right there. All right. And no, it's not talking about people turning into zombies, man. All right? Your ass will be turning to powder. You can be cremated. All right? It says, verse 13, and it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. Hey, that's wars of the nations, man. All right? They'll fight against one another. It says, and Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. Yeah, so hey, the nation of Israel are going to kick y'all ass. We're going to kick y'all ass. When we get put back into the land, hey, that's Ezekiel 39th chapter. And the nation that's left, y'all going to bring us the best of everything you got from here on out. Y'all going to be tributaries. All right, Isaiah 60, Isaiah 61, Isaiah 62, Revelation 21, Revelation 22. It says, and so shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, and of the ass, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents, as this plagues. They're going to get destroyed over here in America. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left, you see, from this plague, from World War III, of all the nations, which is going to be the Eastern Hemisphere, which came against Jerusalem, shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah host, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. You see, y'all still going to be here, man. We ain't going to lie to you. We're going to give you the truth, man. All right? Besides, I want y'all women. I'm just saying. Verse 17, and it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King and the Lord Yahweh by Shema shall host, even upon them shall be no rain, famine, drought. Okay, so you see, if you don't want to come up to worship, if you don't want to follow the ways of Yahweh Shema Shah that we're going to make y'all follow, of course y'all going to rebel because y'all heathen. But y'all not going to rebel in the sense of, I'm going to buck up against the Israelites. No, man, you're going to be breaking the laws, statutes, and commandments. All right? You're going to be going against the orders, our laws, our way. And we're going to bring judgment upon you nations, man. You see? What comes from no rain? Famine, drought, no crops, animals dying, people dying, bacteria. Verse 18, and if the family of Egypt go not up, it's saying Egypt, but it's talking about the nations that's left. go not up, the Lord's not going to name every nation. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, they have no rain. So if you still don't want to be obedient after Yahweh Shema Shai is going to allow us to cut your water off, all right, then what's going to happen to you? There shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. So more plagues is going to come upon you. We're going to cause more trouble. And the governing body of Israel, of the 144,000, which is in charge of whatever region that they have been allotted, is going to cause these things to happen. They're going to tell the angel, look, don't bring plagues upon this area. And they're going to do it. It says, this shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, you see? So it ain't just talking about the Hamites. It's talking about all nations that don't keep the Feast of Tabernacles, going into the feast days, being obedient. And that day there shall be upon the bells of the horses holiness unto the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, and the pots in the Lord's house shall be like the bowls before the altar. Yeah, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai host, and all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them and see therein boil. And in that day there shall be no more Canaanite of the house of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai host. Meaning what? It ain't gonna be no heathenistic Israelite, man. All Israelites gonna be on order, man. It's gonna be all righteousness, and you heathens are going to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, man. So I just had to hit that point real quick through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. This proves that, hey, these are not the people, man. All right? Let's play this, and I'm going to close it out.
Joining me now, Ben Rhodes, former Deputy National Security Advisor and an MSNBC contributor. Ben, Israel's staunchest...
Hey, your own people saying y'all bad, man. Look that marinate. Hey, you know you at the end. You know we at the end, man. Hey, Canaan divided amongst itself shall not stand, but have an end. Your own people is condemning you, man. Putting you to shame. Airing you out, saying this wrong. Accusing you of the big G word. But then y'all go through this. Hell no, y'all ain't going through this shit. Y'all made that up, man. Stop playing, man. All right? Because the real hollow, you know what caused it, is the burning, all right? It means to burn. Go to the etymology, look it up.
Supporters are being troubled in large part by images like the ones we're showing right now. This was a baby in Gaza who was delivered prematurely via C-section because their mother was killed in an Israeli airstrike. That child survived only a short time. Pictures of atrocities do have the power, as you know, to change hearts and minds in ways that can't be undone. Is there a point at which the horror that we're all witnessing unfold every day in Gaza becomes too much even for Netanyahu, who we just heard right now is denying what we're all looking at with our own eyes?
I mean, you would hope so, Chris. First of all, the facts are pretty clear on this. Since the collapse of the first ceasefire that was negotiated in March, Israel restricted all aid getting into the Gaza Strip. That included restrictions on things like baby formula. So that was a policy choice. And so this has been building for months. People have been warning about this for months. They've also kind of dismantled the capacity of the UN aid organization to deliberate into Gaza, and instead created this alternative mechanism, the so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is, by all accounts, is not capable of getting aid into Gaza, or not interested necessarily in getting the levels of aid that are needed to get in there. I think the question now is, in response to pressure, you've seen some kind of half measures. So you've seen the resumption of airdrops of food into Gaza. The problem is that's not going to be sufficient to stop what is a kind of cascading effect. Once a critical mass of the population is dealing with malnutrition, you kind of can't put Band-Aids on that with airdrops, which are inefficient ways of getting assistance in. You have to let these several hundred trucks of aid that are parked there on the border drive in. You have to give kind of unfettered access to deal with the scale of starvation. Netanyahu seems to be trying to balance the kind of far right of his coalition that wants to really depopulate Gaza. They say that out loud, and the international pressure he's under. So what he usually does is come half measures, right? Let those airdrops go forward, maybe let a trickle of aid in. That's not going to do it in this case, though. So I think the pressure is going to continue until there's a meaningful distribution of aid in Gaza. If not, an end to the conflict altogether.
You heard me say this, Ben. Highly respected human rights groups in Israel are now accusing their own government of genocide, which is, of course, a highly sensitive word to the Jewish people. Does Netanyahu need to explain to the Israeli people and to the world why it's necessary to continue waging this war this way? It seems there's been no clear momentum since the last ceasefire ended.
No, and the military objective, he continues to say that the objective is to destroy Hamas. But at the same time, you have people in his own government, right, Israeli ministers, talking about depopulating Gaza. You have proposals to start to annex parts of Gaza. But that raises the question of, well, what is the purpose of this military operation? And that's one of the reasons why you have those Israeli organizations talking about genocide. You had an Israeli genocide scholar write a similar piece for the New York Times. It's harder to determine what is the end state that Netanyahu is seeking here. Hamas clearly is not what it was on October 7th. And so why is the war going on? And I think unless and until there's a complete end to the military campaign and the restrictions on aid in Gaza, this pressure is going to continue. And again, I think the main thing people have to understand here is that, this is actually what a lot of people in Netanyahu's coalition want. And so in Israeli politics, there's a lot of people that want an end to the war. There's an increasing number of people who are concerned about the humanitarian situation in Gaza. But there's also people who kind of want to kind of press forward and literally take the land. And he's yet to reconcile those differences. And time and again, he tends to side with the far right of his coalition because that's what keeps him in power. He's worried about his government collapsing if he loses that far right support, at which point he'd be vulnerable not just to an election, but to potential criminal prosecution, given some charges he faces in Israel.
And I wonder if you see alternatively, Ben, that this has reinvigorated the idea of a two-state solution. Do you see real momentum building toward establishing a Palestinian state?
Yes and no. You see, obviously, France has recognized a Palestinian state. They're having a conference dedicated to the creation of a Palestinian state. The UK kind of tentatively came along today. It's tied to the conflict in Gaza. So you may see more and more countries, out of a lack of any other thing to do, recognize a Palestinian state. The question is, what is that state going to be? The land would need to be in the West Bank and Gaza. There's increasing Israeli settlements into the West Bank and talk about taking land in Gaza. There's obviously a kind of tired and corrupt Palestinian Authority leadership in the West Bank and a destroyed Hamas leadership in Gaza who would lead a Palestinian state. So recognition is kind of the easy part. The question becomes, well, where is this Palestinian state going to be and who's going to be able to run it? And I think that's when things get a lot more challenging. But I think people are just trying to give a horizon of some hope that there could be a resolution to this conflict. But that doesn't get us out of the situation we're in Gaza to begin with.
Ben Rhodes, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.
There you have it. Shalom. Tell them to.